Hi there. Today we are going to talk about something that is very important and we have to pay attention and take care of our world. Okay, take a look first in this PDF. I'm going to read and later I ask you to watch this video, okay? Let's go. Here we have two languages, English and Portuguese, for helping us Brazilians. Okay, cities, a brief introduction. Have you heard about cities? Have you ever, it's not city, it's cities. Now we are going to talk about cities, brief introductions, just a brief introduction. Okay, let's go, let's continue. Have you ever stumbled upon an animal while browsing the web that made you? I want one. Have you? For many of you, this immediately obsession can be remedied by thorough research and preparation, followed by a trip to the pet store. For others, though, specifically those experienced pet enthusiasts looking for something rare and challenging, it isn't that simple, and for good reason. People that want to be excited with a weird and exotic species. Okay, go ahead. With pet trading being an international industry, we need global regulations to protect vulnerable species. So enter cities of the conventions or international trades in endangered species of wild fauna and flora. This is the explanation about cities. Okay, Convention on International Trade, and in our country, Brazil, is joined with this international conventions. Thanks God for that. But we know that we have a good, very hard pressures for all the world for we join with this type of things, because here we have many species of flora and fauna. We all know about that. Okay, continuing, an international agreement between 183 governments with the aim of policing wildlife trade and keeping threatened species off the action block. This is accomplished by listing vulnerable species under 3 categories, Appendix 1, 2, and 3. Now we have to understand that we have 3 types. We have 3 types about this issue of the word, Appendix 1, 2, and 3. Let's go and understand better about these 3 appendix. Each appendix is clearly defined under Article 2 of the agreement. Okay, Appendix 1 lists species that have been identified as being threatened with extinction and entails strict regulations in regards to trade and exportation. The Appendix 1, for that what I understand, is the Appendix 1 is the best, the most important for our attentions. All the species that we have to get a precious take care about this more than others, but we don't have to forget Appendix 2 and 3, but the 1 is the emergency. Okay, go ahead. Expectations and conditions for exportation are laid out in Article 3 of the agreement. Okay. A few examples of Appendix 1 species are the Asian Arowana, agave parvi flora, and Mexican populations of Antilope capra americana. Okay. Appendix 2 entails species that are not currently threatened with extinction, but could become so due the collection of wild specimens. Additionally, the appendix consists of plants and animals that may not present themselves but have a correlation to the irresponsible collection of threatened species. Okay. To be better understand this, let's pretend that there are two different species of fish. We are going to see now fish A and fish B and pretend something for understand better about it. This is the fish A and this is the fish B. They look almost identical. You can look for A and look for B and see, oh, is the same, but it's not the same. They look almost identical as juveniles, but fish A is a threatened species and fish B is a plantful. Okay. Take a look here when they grow up. Fish A and fish B. In order to keep juvenile fish of the species A from entering the market due to misidentification as a species B, both fish may appear in Appendix 2. Okay. Then B enter in Appendix 2 because we don't have chance for having misunderstood in here. Okay. We have to close all the misunderstood, all the mistakes. We have to protect this species. Hopefully that scenario helped to illustrate the reasoning behind this. All regulation regarding trade of species in the appendix can be found in Article 6. Okay, one example of an Appendix 2 species is the fly river turtle. Appendix 3 consists of species that are not protected in at least one country and indicates that the member nation has requested assistance from other state parties in regulations, trade, and exportation of the species. One example of this is the walrus, with Canada being the concerned party. Article 5 lays out the trade regulations pertaining to this appendix. So when you come across a species that is classified under a state appendix, what should you do? What should you do if you want a species and you see that is inside the appendix of this international regulation cities? What should you do? What should you do? Tell me, what should you do? If you are insistent on keeping the animal or plant, check the notes in the appendix. Some species are permitted in their domesticated form, or in the event that a domesticated form does not exist, this species may only be listed as threatened in a single geographic locality, meaning the animal can be kept so long that it does not originate from the specified area. Okay? Just remember to be responsible Don't buy illicitly traded animals, but captive bred when you can, and always check your local laws, okay? We need to follow the laws always. We need to follow the laws always, but when you talk about the life, it's not just the human being's life, but plants' life, animals' life. We have to be responsible about it, okay? Don't buy illicit traded animals. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Okay? Check your local laws. Check this. In Brazil, you can check. Okay? I'm going to show you where you can find the list about it. Okay, it's not difficult. You can go in our site ibama.gov.br. This is Cites. Convenção sobre Comércio Internacional das Espécies da Flora e Fauna Selvagens em Perigos de Extinção. Okay, this is the site. You can go here, and here you can check if the number of the animal that you are buying is correct. Okay, don't buy if you don't take a look in this site. Okay, be attention. Okay, now I am going to show you. Now, okay, here, now I'm trying to show you, we are going to see the video about cities, okay? Just a moment. Okay, let's go. This is the video.
Stumbled upon an animal while browsing the web. Have you ever stumbled upon an animal while browsing the web that made you say, I want one? For many of you, this immediate obsession can be remedied by thorough research and preparation followed by a trip to the pet store. For others though, specifically those experienced pet enthusiasts looking for something rare and challenging, it isn't that simple, and for good reason. With pet trade being an international industry, we need global regulation to protect vulnerable species. So enters Cites, or the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, an international agreement between 183 governments with the aims of policing wildlife trade and keeping threatened species off the auction block. This is accomplished by listing vulnerable species under 3 categories: Appendix 1, 2, and 3. Each appendix is clearly defined under Article 2 of the agreement. Appendix 1 lists species that have been identified as being threatened with extinction and entails strict regulation in regards to trade and exportation. Exemptions and conditions for exportation are laid out in Article 3 of the agreement. A few examples of Appendix 1 species are the Asian arowana, agave parviflora, and Mexican populations of Antilocapra americana. Appendix 2 entails species that are not currently threatened with extinction, but could become so due to collection of wild specimens. Additionally, the appendix consists of plants and animals that may not be threatened themselves, but have a correlation to the irresponsible collection of threatened species. To better understand this, let's pretend that there are 2 different species of fish, fish A and fish B. They look almost identical as juveniles, but fish A is a threatened species and fish B is plentiful. In order to keep juvenile fish of the species A from entering the market due to misidentification as species B, both fish may appear in Appendix 2. Hopefully that scenario helped to illustrate the reasoning behind this. All regulations regarding trade of species in this appendix can be found in Article 4. One example of an Appendix 2 species is the fly river turtle. Appendix 3 consists of species that are protected in at least one country and indicates that the member nation has requested assistance from other CITES parties in regulating trade and exportation of the species. One example of this is the walrus, with Canada being the concerned party. Article 5 lays out the trade regulations pertaining to this appendix. So when you come across a species that is classified under a CITES appendix, what should you do? If you are insistent on keeping the animal or plant, check the notes in the appendix. Some species are permitted in their domesticated form, or in the event that a domesticated form does not exist, the species may only be listed as threatened in a single geographic locality, meaning the animal can be kept so long that it does not originate from the specified area. Just remember to be responsible. Don't buy illicitly traded animals. Buy captive bred when you can, and always check your local laws. You can learn more and view the list.
Okay, now I have another video that explains better what happened around the world when somebody want to buy some species and they chose the low price. Okay, they chose the low price because the low price is always slaves or illegal things. Okay, I just a moment, I'm sharing with you this another video. Pay attention and you are going to understand it better. Okay, let's
And some wild species, when done legally and sustainably, can promote conservation and benefit local communities. But on the other hand, did you know that poaching and illegal trade of wildlife can threaten the survival of some plants and animals? Take the example of this young girl. She received an amazing tarantula with red-banded legs for her birthday. It's a Brachypelma smithii, most commonly known as the Mexican red knee tarantula. Her parents bought it for $250 at a local pet store. The pet store purchased the tarantula from a wildlife importer who bought it from an exporter. The exporter purchased the tarantulas at an extremely low price from a person who illegally collects tarantulas directly from the wild. Every year,
when they say that they collected this species illegally, because when you collect something illegally, you can't have a control about it. If you don't have a control, you can lose the species, okay? Because you can, maybe you can have a species, but we need a control. We need to have a strict control about it. Okay, let's continue the video.
Brachypelma tarantulas are exported illegally from Mexico, Canada, and the United States to other countries. All three countries are contributing to the disappearance of tarantulas in the wild. The good news is that trade of CITES Appendix 2 species such as Brachypelma tarantulas can be and often is sustainable and provides an important source of livelihood for many. That is, when the trade is done under responsible captive breeding operations. What is CITES Appendix 2?
This is a very important question. What is CITES Appendix 2? What is? Okay, let's go ahead.
2. The Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, is a multilateral treaty to protect threatened and endangered plants and animals. Although wild plants and animals under CITES Appendix 1 should not be traded, CITES Appendix 2 is a list of species that are not threatened with extinction, but whose trade must be controlled to avoid practices incompatible with their survival.
This is the worst, okay? This is the worst situation. And this we have to take care because we have to avoid this. We have to avoid Appendix 2 becomes Appendix 1, okay?
The legal, traceable, and sustainable trade of CITES Appendix 2 species can help ensure their survival and create economic opportunities for communities. This is why the CEC is promoting the sustainable trade of 4 North American CITES Appendix 2 species categories: sharks, tarantulas, turtles, and timber. How can you contribute to making species trade more sustainable?
How can you contribute to making species trade more sustainable? How can you contribute? Let's let's hear about it because very important. How can I do? What can I do for help it?
Sustainable? Inform yourself. Only buy from sellers that can verify that pets are sourced legally.
Only buy if you check that that species that you are buying is legally, okay? Okay, you have to be strict on this. You have to be very strict on this. Only buy if you are sure that it is strict.
Search online to learn about the conservation status of your favorite species.
Okay, guys. Take care and hear the word like Michael Jackson was singing about.
Trade in some way.
Heal the world, making a better place. Okay, take care and take care of the world.